and prompt generation language. And then you also can explain at least 5 DBMS functions. Ini kalau bila dah habis chapter ni, you boleh menjawab soalan-soalan tadi, insyaAllah boleh lah. So kalau soalan-soalan tadi tu tak dapat nak jawab, maksudnya you kena tengok balik, study balik. Okay, saya tengok what is the purpose of a database system? Apa sebenarnya tujuan ataupun kepentingan sistem kalan data ni? First, provide users with basic views on data. Iaitu how data can be stored and utilized. Okay, you don't worry slide ni semua dah ada dalam clip. You pilih saja chapter 2, yang last week tu chapter 1 Okay. And then the second one is database is share resources. Share resources, keywords dia share resources. Means that each user may need a different approach in obtaining the data that is being stored. Okay, so to fulfill this need, the architecture of most current commercial database is based on ANSI Spark architecture. So after this, kita akan tengok apa dia atau macam mana ANSI Spark architecture ni. Okay, so ini ialah figure ANSI Spark architecture. Dia ada 3 level. Saya tengok kat sini ada 3 level. External level, conceptual level, internal level. So you kena ingatlah ada 3 level ANSI Spark architecture. External, conceptual dan juga internal level. So pada level external ni, external level melibatkan end user lah. External ni melibatkan end user. Okay, end user 1, end user 2, sehinggalah end user yang keberapa lah. So antara external level dengan conceptual level ni kita panggil logical data independence. Okay. Antara external level dengan conceptual level ni, okay, tengok mapping kat sini, kita panggil logical data independence. Okay, so dalam conceptual level, okay, dia ada conceptual schema. Okay, dia ada conceptual schema. And then between conceptual level and internal level, so kita mapping dia ada physical data independence. Okay, so dalam internal level ni dia ada internal scheme which is linked to database. So you boleh bayangkan lah, ANSI Spark ni ada 3. Kita set dalam kepala kita ni. Okay, ANSI Spark ada 3. First, external level, conceptual level, and internal level. Dalam internal level melibatkan end user. Dalam conceptual level melibatkan conceptual scheme. Dalam internal level melibatkan internal scheme which is connected to database. Okay, so kita tengok dari segi separation view lah. Users views of the physical data. Okay. Each user has a different view and is able to access the same data. Setiap pengguna ni maybe dia pandangan dia berbeza dalam dia nak capai sesuatu data, walaupun data tu data yang sama. Users can also change their views regarding data and this change should not affect other users. Dia tak memberi apa-apa kesan lah kepada pengguna yang lain. So the interaction between user and database has to be free from storage space considerations. Maksudnya bila kita guna database ni, kita tak perlu ni lah tak perlu muat ke tak muat ke lagi, itu bukan kerja kita lah. Okay, the database administrator should be able to change the database storage structure without affecting the user's view. Maksudnya bila mana database ni, database administrator ni dia nak tukar apa-apa berkenaan dengan struktur storan kalan data ni tanpa memberi apa-apa kesan lah kepada users view. Okay, and then macam gitulah kadang-kadang kalau kita tengok kan bila nak tengok online banking kadang-kadang dia tulis apa? Under apa dia panggil? Tak ada construction, ada satu term tu. Maksudnya kita tak tahu dia tengah buat apa kan. Kita tak nampak pun database dia tengah adjust apa kat database apa semua kan. Under maintenance. Biasa dia buat under maintenance kan. Kita tak nampak yang kita tahu, kita guna sahaja ya. Okay, so the internal structure of a database should not be affected by change to the physical aspect of storage. And the DBA, database administrator, should be able to change the conceptual and global structure of a database without affecting all users. Tanpa memberi kesan kepada semua pengguna lah. Dia nak adjust apa ke semua tu tanpa memberi kesan kepada view of all users. Okay, external level. Okay, tadi kan ada external level, yang atas sekali tu external level. Users' views of the database where only a part of the database is suitable to the requirements of each user, which are accessibility to certain data, okay, defined in specific views, and restrict to users. Ada setengah pengguna, maksudnya level-level kita lah yang kita boleh guna. Tak semua benda atau tak semua perkara lah dalam satu sistem tu kita boleh access. Ada level-level dia. Okay, macam contohnya saya kan, kalau tengok dalam portal student, tak semua pelajar yang saya boleh access. Mungkin mentee saya boleh tengok dia punya result dia apa semua kan. Kalau dia bukan mentee saya tak boleh tengok. Dia ada level-level dia lah, restriction. Okay, the same data can be viewed and presented differently. And then some views only store visual data where the data can be produced only when needed. So dalam ni pun dah ada textbook, so you kena banyak membaca lah, bukan sekadar tengok pada nota yang saya bagi ni saja. Okay, mungkin you boleh kalau you nak explore lebih, mungkin you boleh pergi cari lain-lain nota berkenaan dengan ANSYS Spark Architecture. So kat situ mungkin you boleh dapat knowledge yang lebih banyak lagi lah. Di Google je lah topik tu, ANSYS Spark Architecture. Mungkin cara dia, the way dia terangkan tu yang mudah faham dan sebagainya. Sebab ada banyak So kalau benda lain pun you boleh Google, why not? Topik-topik dalam pembelajaran kita ni kita tak boleh Google kan? Tak boleh cari maklumat. Kena juga cari maklumat Okay, so the DBMS implements an external scheme to create user interface. Okay, nak create interface tu. And users interact with the database through this interface where users cannot view the conceptual and internal levels. Macam kita ni, bila kita nak guna sistem tu, kita interact melalui interface. Betul tak? You nak daftar, contohnya you baru saja register kursus kan? Saya ada interface, you interact kat situ. Kan? Nak masukkan course apa ataupun you nak drop you nak register kursus apa, subjek apa, okay, you nak drop subjek apa, semua tu you interact melalui interface. So that's why dia kata end users interact with the database through this interface where users can view the conceptual and internal levels. Okay, boleh faham tak?
Boleh Puan.
Boleh.
Okay. Tak laju sangat kan? Sebab kita pun banyak masa juga, kita ada 2 jam, so tak semestinya 2 jam lah saya habiskan untuk penat you. Sebab online kan?
Faham.
Okay. Saya cuba buat ringkas lah bagi you all faham. Maksudnya tak terlalu panjang sangat, penat dia menghadap ni kan? Okay, so kita tengok conceptual level conceptual level. Second, conceptual level. Tadi external level kan, conceptual level is a middle level between the external and internal levels. Atas sekali, you just imagine, atas sekali external, tengah-tengah conceptual, and then bawah sekali internal. So kalau external tu melibatkan user view. So conceptual level ni represents the logical structure of the entire database as seen by a database administrator. Bukan user lah, database administrator. User, external level. So complete view of the data requirements of the organizations and the conceptual level ni mengandungi all entities, attributes and relationship between data store in a database. Nanti next topik ya akan belajar tentang entities, attribute, relationships dan macam mana data tu disimpan dalam kalam data. And then the constraints of the data, semantic informations of the data, security and integrity information, semua benda ni item ni semua berada pada level conceptual. So ingat function bagi setiap level tu adalah berbeza-beza. Okay, internal level. So level yang ketiga ni, internal level. Lowest level and is the closest to a database, level ataupun tahap yang paling bawah sekali lah. External, conceptual and internal. It is normally controlled by a database administrator, dikawal oleh database kalang data. And then the internal level explain how data is stored in a database. Sebab dia paling hampir sekali dengan database internal level. So, akan menerangkan bagaimana data ini disimpan dalam kalang data. Okay, physical implementations of the database, okay, in order to achieve optimum runtime performance and storage space utilization. Macam mana kita nak utilisekan storan tu. Okay, so in this level lah. Okay, data structure and file organization used to store data in storage instruments. Kalau internal level ni dia melibatkan macam mana data kita tu disimpan lah sebab dia paling hampir dengan database. Okay, so dalam internal level ni, the internal scheme contains descriptions of the this following lah. First, storage space required for data and index. Okay. Yang kedua, descriptions of record of storage. Okay, with storage size for data items. Okay, record positions, maksudnya record ataupun data tu berada di bahagian part mana. And then data compression and data encryption technique. Macam mana kita nak kompreskan, maknanya mengecilkan data tu. Kita nak kompres, kita nak memampatkan data. Dan bila data tu dikompres, so kita kena consider jugalah bagaimana data tu nak di-uncompresskan balik. So sama juga data tu encryption, macam mana data tu nak di-encrypt dan di-encryptkan balik. Encrypt tu maksudnya data tu data sebenar tu ditukar ke dalam bentuk yang tidak difahami. Okay, on the way lah, kata dalam jalan dia nak sampai ke destinasi dia tu, data tu data tu, dan bila sampai kepada penerima dia akan di-encryptkan balik. So ada teknik-teknik lah digunakan, maknanya sepanjang jalan tu supaya data tu tidak dicuri ataupun hilang lah. Okay, so dia akan encrypt, maknanya kalau orang jumpa pun dia tak faham data tersebut. Okay. Dari segi scheme and mapping, okay, the scheme of database is an overall description of database. Okay, ada dua scheme tadi kan? Saya tunjuk balik tadi kan? Ada dua scheme. Mapping ni, apakah mapping ni? Kalau mapping ni, Okay, logical data independence dan juga physical data independence. Okay. Okay, the scheme of a database is an overall description of a database. There are two types of mapping, which are external or conceptual scheme mapping. Okay, object mapping at conceptual level and external level. Okay. And then yang kedua, ataupun kalau saya dah mudah ingat, saya akan buat object mapping ni external, object mapping at external level and conceptual level. Sebab dia external tu di atas kan kalau saya lah, cara untuk kita mudah ingat sikit. Okay, kalau conceptual, internal scheme mapping, object mapping at conceptual, okay, at conceptual level and internal level. Maksudnya kita susun ikut dia punya level terus. So mudah kita nak ingat, maknanya kalau saya kata tak bolok lah. Walaupun aku terpulang pada masing-masing lah, cara mudah kita nak ingat. Okay, boleh? Ada apa-apa nak tanya tak?
Boleh Puan.
Okay. Okay. Yang lain?
Boleh.
Berapa lelaki, berapa perempuan kelas ni? Berapa orang lelaki, berapa perempuan?
Sekejap. Lelaki 20.
Perempuan 30 lah, 30 lebih lah.
Ha?
Perempuan 30 lebih lah kan? Okay, setakat ni boleh faham
Boleh.
Okay, kemudian kita masuk tentang data independence. Okay, the major objective of the three-level architecture yang tadi lah, three-level architecture tadi tu, answer statement tu, is to provide data independence. Adalah bertujuan bagi menyediakan data independence. Apa maksudnya tu? Data independent, which means the utmost level is unaffected by changes in the lowest level. Maknanya ada apa-apa perubahan pada level yang bawah tu tanpa memberi kesan lah pada level yang atas. Contohnya level external, level user view. So, maksudnya kalau administrator ubah apa-apa pun dia tak nampak lah kan, dia bahagian diguna je, end user kan. Okay, two types of data independence. Logical data independence refers to immunity of the external schemes towards change in the conceptual schemes. Sama ada kita nak tambah, nak delete, ataupun dari segi attribute, dari segi relationship. So nanti kita akan belajar apa dia entity, apa dia attribute, apa dia relationship dalam next topic lah, lebih detail lah. Okay, physical data independence, okay, bermaksud the immunity of the conceptual scheme towards change in the internal scheme. Contohnya different storage structure. Okay. Okay, kemudian kita tengok dari segi database language, bahasa pekalan data. Okay, dibahagikan kepada 3. Satu kita panggil DDL, Data Definition Language. Okay, yang kedua Data Manipulation Language. Yang ketiga Fault Generation Language. Okay, dalam DDL, Data Definition Language is used to determine the database scheme. And then data manipulation language is used to read and update the database. Dia punya function dia lah. And then kalau fourth generation language is data sub-language and it does not contain the constructs for all computation needs. Okay, DDL, data definition language, is aimed at building database structure, for example, external conceptual and internal conceptual. Okay, and it's change the data produced by an application program or by the terminal from the conceptual level ataupun kita kata programmer view lah, pada yang programmer view to the physical level, manner of data storage. Okay, the result of DDL applications is a table stored in a specific dictionary called the data dictionary. Nanti kita akan belajar juga tentang table-table. So dalam topik yang akan datang lah. Ini contoh lah. Contoh create book, table book, table book yang ni ISBN number, okay, book title, year publish, maksudnya ISBN number tu kita dah setkan dia 10. Okay, kalau ISBN number tu memang 10 tapi kita setkan dia punya size dia 25 lah, for example. Boleh, tapi masalahnya rugilah kita punya storan. Sebab bila kita dah reserve 25, so nanti dalam storan tu dia dah reserve. Sedangkan kita tak pakai pun, sedangkan kita perlu size dia 10 saja. So yang selebihnya tu tak diguna. Jadi kita tak jelas betul-betul storan. So that's why kalau setengah tu kan kalau nama kita panjang sangat bila kita seborang kat sistem ataupun online lah, muat, betul tak? Sebab dia ada reserve, dia anggap-anggap lah, maksudnya contoh nama kita ni ada reserve dalam berapa space berapa je kan, sebab kalau lebih banyak memang membazir ruang. Okay. Book title, jenis dia karakter. Kalau year publish, nanti akan belajar lah type dia numerik, sebab year tahun bukan ABC kan. Tahun mesti 1, 2, 3 macam tu lah, banyak 2021, 2022, number. So, numerik. Boleh faham tak? Okay. And then ini antara benefits lah of data dictionary. Antaranya ialah information is grouped and stored centrally. It's become easier to control data which forms the resources of an organization. The meaning of the data can be defined clearly so that all users can understand the application and importance of the data referred. Communication and understanding between users is easier due to clear data definitions. Access and lack of coordination can be identified and avoid. Ini antara kelebihan-kelebihan bagi benefits of data dictionary. And then each change the database can be speedy recorded because the database manager has a complete record of data, and the effect of any change can be evaluated before change is made. Dan function DML, data manipulation language, antaranya ialah additions of new data into the existing database, updating data store in the database, access to the data in the database, deletions of data from the database. Ini adalah function-function bagi data manipulation language. Nak add, nak update, nak delete, nak access. DML. Okay, kalau kita tengok classes of data manipulation language. sama ada procedural language maupun non-procedural language. So procedural language, a language that allows users to inform the data system what data is needed and how to access the data. And non-procedural language, a language that allows users to explain what data is needed without determining how the data can be accessed. So, ingat class of data manipulation language ada dua, sama ada procedural language dan ataupun non-procedural language. And the last one is 4GL. Characteristic presentations language such as query language and report production. Query language, okay, and report production. Special language such as database language and work spreadsheets. Productions of applications which define, add, update and access data from the database to build applications, and high-level language used to produce application code. And then application functions, dari segi application producer, dari segi report producer, form producer, dari segi graphic producer, and dari segi query language. Okay, data model and conceptual modeling. Okay, data model is a collection of concepts, constraints, and integrity rules that describe the situation, relationship, and constraints of data in particular organizations. Okay, and it shows understanding between the developers, administrators, and users of database. Developer ni mereka yang buat program lah. Memang ke siapa ke. Kita panggil developer lah. Okay, how organization are linked to one another. Sekarang yang kita perlu di consider lah. Bagaimana organization are linked to one another. How data is present and stored. And what are the rules and constraints imposed regarding the process of accessing, manipulating and storage specific data. Okay, kalau kita tengok parts of data model, sama ada scheme, manipulations, and data control and validations. Okay, dalam schemes, explain the content of the structure. Manipulation, explain the types of data administrations and how it is executed. And then data control and validation, state the rules of integrity and constraint related to the data. Okay, a data model is used for data modeling at the external, conceptual and internal level. Tiga-tiga level ni semua guna data model bagi penggunaan data modeling. Sama ada di external, conceptual and internal level. Okay. And there are two main type of data model. Example, data model based on object and data model based on record. The basic concept in an object-based data model are entity, attributes, and relationship. Tiga ni, the basic concept in an object-based data model sama entity, attribute, and relationship. Entity relationship model most often used to model conceptual data and is based on entity, attributes, and relationship which are labeled with specific symbols. Okay, semantic object models or collections of attribute names which can explain a specific thing with certainty. And three types of attributes, the brief attributes, mixed attributes, and semantic object attributes. And almost similar to the relationship in the entity relationship model. So nanti kita akan detail lah kalau entity relationship model tu nanti kita akan belajar detail dalam chapter yang akan datang. So you do lah. And then OO model, object oriented model ataupun OO, extended from the definitions of entity and attributes including access association with it. And each object is seen as a package consisting of data and methods that characterize object behavior from one situation to another by changing the value of its attribute. Okay, so ni record based data model. Record based data model, kalau object based data model, kita ada tiga types. Entity relationship model, semantic object models, and object oriented model. And then record based data model sama ada hierarchical model, network data model, and relationship data model. So ini network model lah. Preventive maintenance, rigid pavement, flexible pavement, sama ada spore, repair, joint seal, crack seal, sama ada patching. Kalau ini pula sama ada dia silicon sealant ataupun asphalt sealant. Okay, kalau hierarchical model, pavement improvement, dia ada reconstruction, maintenance and rehabilitation, routing, bahawa maintenance ada corrective, ada preservative. Okay, kalau relational model, contoh je lah kan, macam mana kita nak menghubungkan antara table ni dengan table ni. So dia berhubung melalui nombor activity code kan. Kalau tak macam nak hubung antara dua nombor ni, mestilah dia ada activity code. Ada satu nombor yang unik yang membolehkan dia link antara table dengan table yang lain. Jadi antara functions of database sebagai data storage, access and update database, dari segi user accessibility, katalog DBMS, transaction support, concurrency control service DBMS, repair service systems, authorization service DBMS, support for data communication DBMS, integrity service DBMS, and service to provide data independence DBMS, dan juga dari segi utility service. So there are a few functions of DBMS, database management system. Okay, kalau multi-user DBMS architecture, okay, teleprocessing. Okay, teleprocessing is the traditional architecture for multi-user system. It consists of a computer with a single process unit and a number of terminals like the one you see in your university lab. Okay, and then places a heavy burden on the central computer, which only need to run the application program and the DMS, but it is also needed to carry out of significant amounts of important work for the terminal. Kalau file server, in a file server environment, the processing is distributed within a local area network, and the file server store the file required by the applications and the DBMS. And however, the application and DBMS in each workstation will request file from the file server whenever necessary. In this way, the file server acts simply as a shared hard disk drive. Okay, DBMS for each workstation send request to the file server for all data stored in the CD-ROM for DBMS usage. So this approach, which is capable of resulting in increasing in network traffic, which in turn can lead to problems in performance. Okay, kalau tadi file server, so now client server. In a client architecture, the database and DBMS is located in a computer called server. A server has a very high processing capabilities, okay, and it's act as a monitor to other client computers connected to it in a local area network, and action by the server computer is known as the back end, whereas the client computer act as the front end. Client komputer sebagai pengguna lah, client komputer, itu kita panggil front end, dan komputer yang kita access yang ataupun yang kita communicate tu ataupun server komputer tu, itu kita panggil back end. Okay, itu sajalah chapter 2 database environment. Ada nak tanya apa-apa lagi tak? Ada yang tak faham ke kat mana ke? Okay, so untuk kelas lab nanti, minggu ni kita masih belum ada lagi. Nanti saya akan beritahu lah bila kelas lab akan ada. Walaupun sepatutnya kalau ikutkan jadual ni, kelas lab you all hari Selasa. Yang ajar database ni saya seorang je kan ataupun ada lecturer lain?
Puan Dalila Puan.
Dia lab saja ke?
Lab saja untuk kelas B.
Okay. Okay, so untuk Selasa ni kita belum start lagi lah.